Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in a video today, and we are going to be talking about a potential signing for the Houston Texans as we get closer and closer to NFL free agency. I know we are a month and a half away. I mean, we still got till March 15th till free agency starts, but saw something on a Bleacher Report thing today about this certain player and thought I had to talk about it. I just, I hate to not talk about free agency, even though it's so far away. It's February 1st. Free agency doesn't start till March 15th. That's still another month and 2 weeks. So, yeah, like I said, basically a month and a half away until free agency starts. But this would be a really interesting signing for the Houston Texans. Definitely one of the positions that they lacked the most out of last season was the wide receiver position. Obviously, Brandon Cooks had a good 2022 season, but he's not going to be returning to the Texans next season. The Texans, hopefully rather sooner than later, the Texans will be able to find a trade partner to get Brandon Cooks out of Houston. So in that case, Brandon Cooks is gone. Nico Collins was all right in 2022, but at the same time, he had some health problems, injury problems, so I think that he's not fit for the Texans' number one job. Then you got John Mechie. He's going to be returning to the Texans next year. I love him, and I think he's going to have a big role for this Houston Texans team. But it doesn't hurt to add in another wide receiver. And it just happens to be a New England Patriot. And, when I first saw this, I didn't think about this. But before I pushed the record button, I remembered where our GM, Nick Caserio, came from. And that is New England. Now, I'm not saying all the players we receive in trades or free agency are all New England, because there are a lot that aren't. But in Nick Caserio's time here in Houston, he has been interested in a lot of former New England and a lot of former New England Patriots players in the trade market and in free agency. He's been down to go after some players. Now, none have really been that successful, but this one right here, Jakobi Meyers, could be pretty good on the Houston Texans. I don't know how much you have to pay him, but I do know that this is a place that wide receivers could want to come. He's definitely the best wide receiver that's available in free agency. I mean, he's not even that great. He's just not. There's not this year in free agency. This wide receiver class in free agency just isn't that big of a year for wide receivers. It's more interesting in the trade market for wide receivers, because in the trade market you have Michael Thomas, you have Brandon Cooks, you have possibly D-Hop. So for teams looking for a wide receiver, most teams are going to be looking more at trades than free agency. But for the Texans, Jakobi Meyers could be a great fit for the Houston Texans. I like him. I think he would want to come here, maybe potentially. I did hear, or I did read on the Bleacher Report thing. It was like a article about where the top free agents will go, and when it got to Jakobi Meyers, they said that they think that the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans will be interested. I like both fits for Jakobi. I'd like him on the Bears. I'd like him on the Texans. Personally, if he goes and signs with the Bears, I'm not going to be mad or upset, but I think he does fit with the Texans. With Bryce or CJ as the new quarterback, Jakobi could work well with the new quarterback, a good new rookie quarterback, and I think that would be a good fit. Also, you have, if it's Bryce, you have Jakobi, who is a good, experienced veteran wide receiver. You have Mechie, you have Collins, and possibly another wide receiver drafted. I want the Texans to draft Jalen Hyatt in the second round. So if you draft Hyatt, you sign Meyers. You, of course, have Mechie return in 2023, and then you have Collins. You have a nice, solid wide receiver group. You have Mechie, who I think is going to break out next season for the Texans. Jakobi Meyers, Jalen Hyatt, if you draft him in the second round, and Nico Collins. So that's a good group for the Texans right there, and with wide receiver group. I like Jakobi. He's a good wide receiver. Had a good season this year. 730 receiving yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. Longest reception was 50 yards. He had a good year this year. Just at times struggled, and I think that a new start for him and a new team could be better. I've always liked Jakobi. I think that I've always been kind of waiting for this guy to break out, and he hasn't broke out yet into like a star. I don't know if he has the ability to become a star, but I do think that in a change of scenery for Meyers, I do think that he could be close to the level of a star. And so, yeah, I just think the Patriots, they're a team that they don't the way they handle with throwing the ball, and they weren't a great passing team this year. They struggled lots of times. Definitely a wide receiver group this year for the Patriots where it kind of felt like they didn't know who was going to be. I mean, in and out, Kendrick Bourne, he'd be starting, then he'd come off the bench. It was just a weird year for the Patriots wide receivers, and that's why they need to trade for somebody. I think the Patriots either need to, land Michael Thomas, D-Hop, or Brandon Cooks, in the trade market this season. They need to get one of the. I doubt Brandon Cooks because he's already been there before, but I think the Patriots need to go after like Michael Thomas or DeAndre Hopkins this offseason in the trade market. Because they need, if they want Mac Jones to be successful, they have to bring in a good wide receiver to help him. But as for Jakobi Meyers, I'd like him on the Texans. I think he'd fit well, and we'll see if it happens. If the Texans are going to sign a wide receiver in free agency, I think Meyers is the best odds. He's gonna. No, he's not one of those guys that wants to go to a great team. He's gonna want to go to a team like the Bears, who don't have that great of wide receivers, or the Texans, because both of those teams, don't have the best wide receivers. Well, the Texans have better wide receivers than the Bears do, but the Texans, it's not like they're much better. I mean, besides Mechie and Collins, you really don't have anybody else. So Meyers would fit well with the Texans. I'm sure he's familiar with Nick Caserio as well, our GM. So if the Texans can make it happen, get him for the right price, I say go for it. The Texans definitely need to add in a wide receiver in free agency. I don't know if Meyers is the guy. Definitely, if not, the Texans will figure out who they need to sign in free agency. But I say go for it. I don't know how much you have to spend, but let's see if the Texans sign Jakobi Meyers in about a month and a half. We got some time to figure this out. But that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the trade idea, or the free agency idea. And you guys let me. Hopefully, Brandon Cooks gets traded soon. You guys let me know you want us to trade Brandon Cooks and what you want us to get. I'm excited to see when we trade Brandon Cooks what we get. I'm thinking we'll get about a 3rd or 4th round pick for Cooks, hopefully. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts, and peace out.